Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Spotlight, brought to you by the Georgetown NAACP Branch number 5520. We are looking forward to talking about a lot of stuff today that you need to know regarding social justice, education, voting. Voting for midterms coming up on Tuesday, November 8th. Constitutional amendments are on the ballot. Did you know that? If you didn't, you're going to find out this morning. And of course, community happenings in Georgetown, South Carolina, and beyond. Good to have everyone here with us on this Saturday morning. Looking forward to your questions and comments right after this opening.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to put a hand of protection.
Well, we're back, folks, and I'm going to go ahead and get my co-host in with me. First, let's bring in our president, Mr. Marvin Neal. Marvin, how are you?
Doing good, Marilyn. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And our first vice president, Mr. Deontay Winchester. Deontay, how are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing all right. How's everybody else?
I'm doing good. I'm rested.
I'm doing just
getting rested. Lots going on and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But doing good. Cannot complain.
Good.
Lots going on. I have to say, Deontay, I just love your setup because you look like a professional radio broadcaster of old. Kind of like, what was the guy that did? Not That's the Way It Is. No, that's Walter Cronkite. What was the other one? The rest of the story. You remember him?
They say I'm an old soul.
You're an old soul. I'm just old because I remember Paul Harvey, and his radio thing was, and now the rest of the story.
Paul Harvey.
Yeah. So look, Marvin laughing. Yeah, because Marvin remember too. Thank you. Sitting up there.
Well, before we move on, Ms. Marilyn, I just want to commend you and congratulate you for that environmental conference. It was awesome. I'm getting great feedback from it, and you did a real good job putting that together.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll talk about that a little bit, Deontay, but thank you very much. It was enjoyable. Everything, good content, good information. And next year we'll be in Brunswick, Georgia. I was on the phone earlier talking to someone about that. So getting ready to go down there in November to find the actual location in Brunswick, Georgia. And I'm looking forward to. And if those of you don't recognize the name Brunswick, Georgia, that's the city where Ahmaud Arbery was murdered. So it has extra special meaning to go there and have the Gullah Geechee Environmental and Energy Conference.
I was stationed in that area, Maryland.
You were? Yeah, big military presence down there.
Yeah, huge. I was stationed in that area, Maryland.
Wow. You were?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, very good. So we got a lot to talk about, and starting with constitutional amendments. Did you guys know that there were constitutional amendments on our ballot this year? I saw the first time a headline yesterday, and I have to admit, I didn't have time to stop to read the story. So Marvin, I know that's something that you wanted to talk about, but
yeah, and we need to talk about it briefly and stuff. It's really what they're looking at, Maryland. With that, I spoke with a couple of the senators recently, as this morning, on that, and what they're saying. This is amendment. Both of you can vote on both of them, and what it does, it puts money back into the general reserve when the economy failed and we have situations like COVID-19 and things shut down and you lose money and stuff of that nature from the economy. They use that money to adjust to get the economy back where it needs to be and keep the economy running and stuff. It's almost like the White House when they have to pass the bill at the end of the year to keep things running. It's the same thing at the state level, pretty much. And
so is this like we have last budget years, we've had excess surplus I think the most recent was $1 billion. Is this kind of money, that's what we're talking about, that surplus and then put it into reserve funds?
Yes, the on the first one, which is Amendment 1, which it's required by Section 36A of the in Article 3 of the Constitution of the state of South Carolina. What this does will increase the amount of money the state government could use and to put in their general reserve fund for rainy day. As I stated before, and from 5% of the previous year revenue, that's already in place. They're just trying to increase it because of what they found during COVID and the impact of us not having enough in there. They're just trying to increase that so they'll be able to adjust and do a better job on the upcoming year if this were to happen again. The just in the case of emergency, rather. Amendment 2, which is same thing, Article 36 of the Article 3 of Section 36B of the Constitution. What this does, it will increase the amount of money the state government must appropriate to the capital reserve fund and the reserve and capital improvement from 2% of the previous year to 3% revenue to require the capital reserve fund's first priority to offset mid-year budget cuts as state agency. As things were to fall, things were to happen in the last budget cut that happened because of the economy shift, a lot of the agencies suffered. So what happened there, it caused people to also suffer. So what they're trying to increase that from 2% of the previous year to 3%. It's just an increase and just making an adjustment. It's almost like a variance within the budget. We're just making an adjustment and stuff from other funding and stuff from other areas and stuff.
All right, so if we return this money, and I'm reading the article quickly, y'all, this is on Ballotpedia News. It's a good nonpartisan website to go to learn more about this. Probably getting a little bit too deep into it right now, but something to look into in the future is if any of these funds are returned to the general fund, can it be directed to our educational system?
Yes.
Okay, so this is why it's important to learn about these ballot initiatives, these amendment initiatives that are happening, so we can, in the long term, influence where money is spent. And that's why it's important that we get engaged in our government more than just voting, but actually learning about what goes on with our government. Anything else we need to know about these constitutional amendments?
The thing is, you could vote on both of them. So both will be on the ballot. You could vote on both of them, and I would encourage people to vote yes. First, I would encourage people to just pull it up online and get educated on it and vote their conscience. I think it's a good thing. It's already there. It's nothing that we're doing new. It's just that we're increasing it to just
increasing the amount that's set aside.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks, I just put up take a snapshot of this website address and go to it to learn more. It's a nice little neutral website that just gives you the facts so you know more about those constitutional amendments before November 8th. All right, very good. Good information to know. I'm glad you explained it. I saw it and I was like, what?
It's not being put out. If you're not looking for it, you don't know it's even going to be on the ballot. And you will see this on the ballot and have no information about what you're voting on.
Yeah, well, one thing about it, Senator Sabbs called me early in the week and we were talking about it. And he wanted me to make sure that we understood it, which is good and stuff. Rarely you get those kind of calls, but he wanted to make sure we understood it. So it impacts everyone, especially us. You see what I'm saying? So it's critical that we know what's going on and stuff. And so I called him back this morning to make sure I was clear on what was going on. And I'm clear on what's going on. So I would encourage people to vote yes on it.
All right. So you heard it here. And as Deontay said, learn more, get informed. And this is the beginning. We're letting you know that it's there. There are 2 amendments. Now go out and learn more about those amendments and also make an informed vote when you do. But it does speak to a larger problem that we do need, to get this information out to more people, like we're doing, so more people are informed. So that's something that we need to talk about, folks, moving forward. And Deontay, you got anything to add to that?
Nothing further.
All right, very good. And the next topic we have our early voting's coming up. Absentee ballots, early voting's coming up. Um, you can request to receive your mail-in ballot now.
Correct.
And early voting starts on the 24th, this Monday. You know, my
When you
days are
come in,
going off. This is Saturday, yeah. So Monday the 24th, there are 4 locations in Georgetown County to go vote. The Andrews Recreational Center, Choppy Recreational Center, the Hazard Street, the Maine Election Commission office on Hazard Street, and the Waccamaw Neck. I don't know which one that is. I knew it.
that one is on walking west to Litchfield Exchange.
Oh yeah, thank you. I knew it. My brain was short circuiting right there. Litchfield Exchange. So starting Monday through Saturday, because we get 2 Saturdays before November 8th, Tuesday, November 8th, to go vote in person at those 4 locations. So we encourage you folks, get it out the way, get in and vote. I understand Georgia is breaking records for midterm voting, and y'all, let's beat Georgia. Let's beat Georgia for our midterm turnout with early voting and in-person voting and voting on election day. But Georgia's beating records, and it's just so important that we go vote.
You no longer need a reason to vote early now.
Yeah, it's a lot more people need to understand about that also, Maryland. You know, and the thing is, don't vote in silence, you know, because if you're voting in silence and things are happening to you, no one can help you. So when you vote, if something is going on, please report it back to us. You know, I know the NAACP itself, we have attorneys that's going to be on the ground. We're communicating right now with the state and the national, and we will have people on the ground starting really on the 3rd of November. So we have sent forward some information. I've sent forward the information from our branch here and stuff, and for other branches and stuff that might be affected in the state because of past situations that have happened with elections and voting. So don't be silent. You know, open your mouth so you can get help. You know, there's a lot of things on the ballot. Also, the time it's not just from the 24th. It's from the 24th through the 5th of November. We want to make sure people understand that. That's the time you will have that you could vote at any of those 4 locations. And the time is from 8:30 a.m. till 6 o'clock p.m. Make sure you understand that. And when you go there, make sure you understand what you're voting for. If not, there will be also some forums coming up, especially on the school board race and the other races. Get informed with the candidates in your area. We'll go over that, I guess, further in the program, Maryland. But what's on the ballot, you know, that affects us, you know, people of color, is voting rights, healthcare, public education, climate protection, veterans benefit, Social Security, Medicare, women's reproductive rights. Those are the things that's our target that we are fighting for more than anything, you know, because we could do nothing without voting rights.
That's right, and it impacts everything. It impacts whether you're pro-choice or not. It impacts another brain fart. Social Security, Medicare, that's on the ballot, whether it's not on the ballot, but you got to listen to what these folks running for office, these candidates are saying. So voting rights, that's the underpinning of everything. So we need people to get out there and vote.
Yeah. Another change to the voting process this year, individuals can only submit 5 absentee ballots. And there's also restrictions as to who they can be from. You must be a family member to that individual, and they must have some type of disability preventing them from doing so themselves. It's been made illegal now to submit absentee ballots from anyone who is not your family member or more than 5. So don't get caught up in that.
It also speaks to why it's important to vote, because we need to get people in office to actually change that. But
Mhm.
that's why it's important to vote. So we get folks in office so we can. And one thing about these laws and things, they can be changed and updated. As clearly, we went from 30 days of absentee ballot voting to 15 days of early voting, and now you can only hand in 5 ballots from family members. So, y'all, this is why it's important to vote. And at the bottom, we have October 24th through November 5th is early voting, and the locations in Georgetown County where you can go. Andrews Rec Center, Choppy Rec Center, the main office in the city of Georgetown where the election commission is located, and Litchfield Exchange on the Waccamaw Neck. So y'all get on out and vote. Some other information regarding voting on election day: passing out information at polls. What are the changes for that, Marvin?
It's 500 feet. You can't be no closer than 500 feet from the polls now. And communicating with voters, you must be outside of the polling place. You can't be inside. There's a lot of challenges with right now and stuff, with people being threatened and stuff of that nature. So what they're looking at, any incidents of discrimination or interference with the right to vote in connection with the upcoming recent election and stuff. And I spoke with the not the general counsel, but the elections officer yesterday. Any complaints to local officials about the incidents and what might, if anything, was to be done in response to it. So how they're responding, you also from the election commission office, we've had issues in the past where situations was not responded to, but I think that has been changed with the new director there, and I'm pretty sure she handles things pretty clear. So I know that she was on Gab News and putting out information on Facebook also, which is a huge change. If you go to the Georgetown County Election Commission office now, go to their webpage, you could find anything that you need on that page. That is one of the most efficient office that I've seen in a long time. Most efficiency I've seen that office ran, or any office that I've heard about. You don't hear about any concerns or complaints out of that office. The only thing I've heard recently was someone was complaining about the pay from the office, the pay that they get during election day. People need to really understand that voting and working on election day is a civic duty. It's a civic duty. That's a stipend, an affordable stipend. That's not where you get a 3% pay raise based on the economy and stuff of that nature. That you get that based on based on what is affordable to that office. And all offices do not work the same. You go from locations to locations. It's based on their budget and what's affordable to them. You have persons working at different offices in the state right now. They're working free for nothing. So let's make sure we understand that before we go getting crazy about 3% or 5% or 9%, whatever, and calling places wondering if they're getting the right pay and all this other stuff. Let's look at our civic duty and make sure we put something back into it, because that's our failure in democracy when we don't give back. When we don't give back. So keep that in mind.
All right, very good. Thank you for sharing that with us, Marv. And that's so important. Those are volunteer positions, but you do get a stipend. And we are always thankful for our poll managers and poll clerks and the work that they do. And y'all, when you go vote, let's try to go in with the best attitude, because these folks have 12-hour days minimum. And actually, it's probably about a 15-hour day, because they're there before we get there, setting up and everything, making sure the machines work. And when we leave, they got to break everything down and make sure it gets to the main election commission office, and everything is done on the up and up. So we really appreciate the work that our poll clerks and poll managers do. And we encourage everyone to go through poll clerk and poll manager training, even if you're not selected. Because one thing I found when I went through the training, and I also have been a poll manager, is that it really gives you a great understanding of the process of voting, how the machines work, there's a whole process to it. Why you check in, you show your IDs, they check you in. So you understand that process and you don't have somebody else telling you how it works. You know for yourself how the process works. So I encourage people to go through that training. And if you're selected, wonderful to work the polls, but even more wonderful is you understand the process. So that's
We
a good
also need a couple of more rovers for this upcoming election as well. For anyone who has technical experience or knowledgeable about different equipments and things of that nature, please go down there and sign up, get your training, and join the team so that we have these systems available for those who want to vote.
very good. Very good. All right. So we got a lot to talk about. So we're
Hey,
moving
Marilyn,
on.
one more thing on
Mhm.
that too. If anyone have any lack of confidence in utilizing the voting, understanding the voting process, or even utilizing the machine, that office is open every day of the week to make sure that you get that understanding. You can walk through that door and they will train you. They'll show you what to do. I mean, that office is so efficient. It's great. I went through the process just to see what everyone would go through, just in case we get complaints. It is efficient. I mean, it is efficient. They have did a lot of adjustment in that office. I walked in there the other day. It looked like night and day versus where it was a year or two ago. So everything in that office is available to you. They have the information laid out. Whatever you're looking for, you can walk in and pick it up. That's where I got the constitutional ballots from. I walked into the election office, or you can get it on right on their website. So everything is available to you. Don't complain until you ask the question, where do I find it?
That's right.
Right by them. It's sitting right on the shelf right by them. So go and ask for the information first, because you don't have a complaint until someone say you don't have they don't have the information for you. That's just being smart and intelligent about the process. So please let's keep all the noise down and not make it look like there's a problem before there's a problem. It's important that we do that because we.
Deontay, it sounds like Marvin's new tablet is cutting out.
But they are great though. Afra and Lee and those have that office running like a well-oiled machine, and it's
Yeah,
greatly appreciated.
it really is. So thank you very much. So I'm gonna have to hop off, but before I go, you guys are gonna stay on and go through the list of very important topics. I just wanted to thank everybody for supporting Deontay and Marvin, the Gullah Geechee Environmental and Energy Conference, and Ebony and others who volunteered, who were speakers. And Deontay, I think you owe me a piece of paper.
See, what happened was
You best get it to me. That's all I got to say about that. And but it was really great, folks. We talked about Hurricane Ian and the aftermath, which we're still working on. I don't think folks realize that people are still recovering from Hurricane Ian, even though it was Category 1. It did do some damage, folks, and folks were without power for 4 days. So we're working diligently to make sure that they have their food replaced. So if you want to make a donation, you could go to GullahGeecheeFoundation.org and make a donation there. I'm going to put that up there too. GullahGeecheeFoundation.org and make a donation. We talked about water quality, air quality, and we had the Maryville-Ashleyville Neighborhood Association do a pre-recorded video with a previous video from Nova PBS about their restoration of the wetlands. Critical to our natural resources, because if we don't have healthy wetlands, we don't have crabs, we don't have fish, things, because that's where the babies go. They go into the wetlands, into the creeks and the creeks, and they have their babies, and then they go back out and they become adults, and the circle of life. Then we eat them. And
a lot about them crabs.
That's a whole seafood industry.
Yeah. But Marilyn, I just want to touch on that environmental energy conference. If you did not go to that conference, you missed a treat. I tell you, so much knowledge and so much information. I'm going to Brunswick next year to the conference, and it's great that you're moving it around because it's necessary. That's an impact definitely on the Gullah-Geechee Seafood Trail, and just on communities itself, like, and just dealing with situation with right now the closure of Santee Cooper, the upcoming closure of that power plant, and how it impacts the community, and why the community needs to be involved, and why they have a say so, and how things happen even in closure of these plants, because a lot of time plants are vacated. Santee Cooper didn't do that at Grange and Conway, because I worked there also, and they have done a great job closing that plant now. But the continuous impact and inspection of that environment is critical to the community, because there's a lot of chemical that goes out, and these basins must be contained until things are clear where we could say, wow, we could breathe again. So let's make sure you stay on tune with what's going on with your environment and stuff. It's critical. And Maryland does a great job with that.
It's critical, and I meant to mention this Saturday at the conference, but they shut down the Alaskan snow crab season. Were y'all aware of that?
No, I did not.
Because 1 billion snow crabs have simply disappeared. And it's not from over catching.
Wow.
It's from climate change.
Wow.
So what does that mean? That means the price of snow crabs will rise. It means people are out of business. And I think it's like a $10 billion industry. It's a huge industry for Alaska. What does that have to do with us? We are all impacted by climate change. Climate change is just not in Alaska. It's this entire globe that we all live on. Our groundwater tables are rising. The temperatures in the ocean are rising. It's impacting our blue crabs and fish here in the Atlantic Ocean. That's why Hurricane Ian was a much more powerful Category 1 than previously. Hurricanes are bigger and they're stronger. And that same disappearance of 1 billion snow crabs can happen here in the Atlantic Ocean with our fish and shrimp and crabs. They're studying it now, but they literally shut down the snow crab industry in Alaska. And we're all going to feel the impact of that. We want to mitigate the harm of climate change. It's happening now, but we're trying to lessen the worst impacts. And unfortunately, we have a very, very small window to get ahead of climate change and control the impact. It's going to happen, folks, at this point, but we're going to try to mitigate the impact. And that's why we do the environmental conference. And that's why we're out here talking about this all the time. And the NAACP has always been a great supporter. But yeah, they have literally have no idea where 1 billion snow crabs went. They just, yeah. So,
Maryland, do you want to touch on the application process for those that was impacted by the hurricane FEMA? I understand that the governor has supposedly sent the FEMA request to the White House. And I don't know if this political or what, and they just waiting on President Biden to sign it. But my understanding, that was released from day one and stuff. So I don't know what's really going on with that. I have some calls in and stuff. We expecting some response back. So could you just let them know?
And we are working on it. You can go to disasterassistance.gov if you have received any physical harm to your house, if you have to go into a hotel, anything associated with Hurricane Ian and you need some help, go to disasterassistance.gov and fill out the application. What is happening, because South Carolina is still not officially declared a disaster area, the governor sent it up last week to the Biden White House. We're waiting on Biden to sign it. But you can still go ahead and get the application completed. If it doesn't work online, there is a phone number that they give you. Call the number and they will help you complete the application, and it gets you in the system. And it lets them know we got people hurting here in South Carolina also, and that need help. They need help. But go to this website, disasterassistance.gov, complete the application as well as you could. If you can't do it online, there is a phone number there. Call that phone number and they'll do it over the phone for you. If you need local help, we have a number, 843-790-4075, 843-790-4075. Call that number and we'll help you with disaster, get you on the list, and send your name forward also. I've been accumulating a list. I do have quite a few households that have been damaged. branches falling into the roofs, damage to their trailers, homes, etc. If you got water in your house, y'all don't let that mold get in. Let us know and we'll get you some help. We're working on it diligently. We really are. And if you had a power outage and you lost food, call that number also. I went to Florence. Was it Thursday, Marvin? I went to Florence.
A lot of taters.
Yeah, got a lot of sweet potatoes that were donated. So we're going to be working. We're trying to get some trucks into Georgetown. We'll put them in boxes and we're going to do food distribution in the areas where people lost power for like 4 days and they lost food and they have to replace that food. And, you know, for some folks, that's their food for the month. They don't have any more money to dig down and get more food. So we're trying to close that gap. If you need help with Hurricane Ian, call 843-790-4075. And if you've had any damage to your house, you don't have insurance, if you need to go to a hotel, they will reimburse you. The Gullah Geechee Corridor Commission is really working hard with this also because of heirs property. FEMA changed their rules. You could just take a utility bill to FEMA. Once we get them on the ground and you can prove that you've been paying taxes or you were paying a utility bill at your domicile, you know, you can't prove that you're the owner, but you're proving that you pay the taxes or the utility bills, you can get some help. And that rule they changed because of heirs property. It was a real issue going on. So there's the website, there's the phone number. Give us a call, folks. And we're working hard to make that happen. And we're working hard to get some food trucks into Georgetown to help folks replenish their cupboards and refrigerators. All right. And I have a bunch of potatoes. So
also make sure people understand that they should mitigate the damages also by putting a tarp over it or whatever. They need to avoid further damage, because if you don't do that, even your insurance company will reject paying out a lot of times. So make sure, and even for food, check with your insurance company, because some of your insurance in the fine print, they reimburse you for food for outages in areas under disaster situation. Even when the power goes out, you know, just under any conditions, they will reimburse you for food, because mine does.
That's right.
So
save your receipts.
Well, you don't have to save no receipts for USAA. You just call it in, and all they do is look at the timeline. They check with your electrical company, and they'll send you reimbursement for food that you have lost for a time period and stuff with outages and stuff. So,
well, FEMA says save receipts.
Okay.
Your insurance company may not, but if you buy tarps, if you had to replace food, anything that you had to spend some money on because of Hurricane Ian, save your receipts, and you can get reimbursement. We're pushing it, folks. We're pushing it from many angles to get FEMA down here working and everything. So, but just let us know. The more people we know need help, the more it helps us to get people down here to help. All right. As soon as Biden signs it, it releases FEMA to come down and help us out. But yeah, and that's another, check with your insurance companies. If you've been out of power for 3 or 4 days, you definitely should be getting some kind of reimbursement. Yeah. So, and that's it. And what else? Oh, Gullah Tours, Stays, and Experiences is now open at 123 King Street in Suite 5. Our colleague, Ebony Hughes opened it, and it is a retail shop filled with handcrafted, beautiful art, soaps, teas from Gullah Geechee creators. And we're excited that they're also a member of the Gullah Geechee Chamber. There will be a big grand opening ribbon cutting. We're planning that now. We don't have a specific day, but they're open 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if you want to go down there and support that business, please do, because wonderful handcrafted jewelry, just a whole bunch of good stuff, pretty stuff too. So
food seasonings.
Thank you. Seasoning,
lotions. I was in there already. I was at the opening the other night. I mean, it was off the chain and stuff. Nice areas. I took a lot of pictures and stuff. You know.
Yeah, and you can rent an electric scooter, and you get your safety helmet and the elbow things. That I don't. You help me out now. The elbow safety things.
Yeah.
And You can do a self-paced Black History tour. We're going to be working out of there, the Gullah Roots Tour Company with Steve Williams. There's videos and stuff. Yeah, this is Georgetown Gullah Geechee heritage is on the move. It really is, and I
What
want
about
people
the
to
Harriet Tubman?
understand. Say that again.
What about the Harriet Tubman?
The Harriet
Thank you, Tony.
Tubman Journey to Freedom Monument is coming August 1st through October 31st, 2023. We are getting ready to kick off our fundraising efforts. We have to raise about $110,000 because it's not just a monument, but we're going to have Natalie Day's, her one-woman show about Harriet Tubman. We're going to have the Gullah Traveling Theater come in, and they're going to do their big production with music and everything. And then we're going to have a big vendor village with the artists and everything and creators. And we also have a stakeholder committee where we want community organizations and individuals to host events throughout the county for those 3 months. So we want not only the Gullah Geechee Chamber Foundation to host the Harriet Tubman Monument, but we want the entire community to benefit. Small businesses, community organizations can host different events, and we're going to include that in the entire marketing plan because we want not only our locals to come and enjoy the monument and the surrounding events, but we want to bring visitors in to learn more about our Gullah Geechee heritage. James Bowley, Harriet Tubman's great nephew who lived in Georgetown and was a huge leader, and Harriet Tubman's connection to Georgetown. So we're looking forward to it August 1st through October 31st, 2023. We're excited about it. And Georgetown Business Association, Georgetown County Chamber, the school district, Georgetown County Government, Georgetown City, who else? Pawleys Island, Litchfield Beach Business Association, Brookery
Civic
Gardens,
Association.
all involved. Yeah, they're all, Pawleys Island Civic Association, they've all been invited to participate in this event. This is going to be a big event for Georgetown, 3 months. And we really want our small businesses to benefit, and we want our children to benefit because we're going to have a lot of educational programs too, working with the school district. So we're very, very excited.
But Marilyn, one more thing on food distribution, the Village Group in Plantersville is having a food distribution as we speak right now at Plantersville Elementary School until it's gone. So make sure we put that out also and stuff. It might be some food still there. It should be, but go out and check, because food is essential.
Yes.
I have 3 grandbabies here and my trash can filled up every day. And usually when me and the wife here, it's once a week. So, we might have to visit the Village Group ourselves and stuff to recover some of our damages from the grandbabies.
Yeah. So we're trying to help our neighbors, not only in Plantersville, PD, Browns Ferry, North Santee, Sanpete. People were hit, I think, rightfully so. Florida needs a lot of attention. They are really just wiped out. A lot of over 100 people dying. Just whole towns just wiped out. But South Carolina was impacted also. So has neighbors, family, friends. We also are pushing for help also. I think we did everything that I need to cover right now, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm going to let y'all wrap up the show. There's a lot to talk about. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to come into your household every week. And then tomorrow on A Gathering Place is Victoria Smalls, Executive Director of the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor Commission, because next week we're having the new office opening in Beaufort. So I'll be down in Beaufort on Saturday for the office opening. And I'm excited that I received my letter confirming, I'm trying to find it, that I am a member of the commission now. And it was really special because Deb Holland, the first Native American chair, is it department chair of the Department of Interior, signed it. So, Gullah Geechee, we Native American too. So to have that signed with her signature, yes, I am going to get it framed.
But Marilyn, that is huge because you are Native American also. You in Ebony. It's deep in your roots.
So it hit me. It hit me when I got that letter. Yeah, it really did. Yeah, it really did hit me when I received that letter. To see that, it just really hit me. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's
pretty cool.
big.
It really is. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'll see you later. Thanks, Deontay. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
And don't forget that piece of paper.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. All right. Look, call me if I knock you out, because this is the first time I'm leaving the studio with this.
Oh boy.
All right.
There we go.
I might hear from you in a minute.
Okay. So, Mr. Neal, a lot going on with elections. Let's go over a little bit more just about what the voters can expect. Let's start from the beginning. What do they need to know about absentee ballots?
Absentee ballot. Well, absentee ballots, you are age 65 and older, on vacation outside the country, residents on election day, physically disabled to include illness or injuries, okay, attending a person who is sick or disabled. Employment prevents you from voting on election day. Students, their spouse, dependents living outside their county of residence. I heard the wife talking to my grandbaby this week about making sure she get hers in. Serving American Red Cross or United States organization serving in the United States Armed Forces outside the country. I knew you understand that from just being in the military and voting. Jury duty on election day, in jail, awaiting trial or disposition of arrest. A lot of times people thinking that they're in jail, they're not eligible to vote. That don't keep you from voting. If you are in jail and you have not convicted a felony, or you just sitting there waiting on a trial and you were actually accused, you have not been convicted yet, you need to go ahead and vote. And if you have finished your sentencing and been released, you're authorized to vote once it's completed, once your sentence is completed and your probation. So, and how you file for that again, you just go to the election office and you submit for a new registration, and the process will start working from there. They'll tell you exactly what you need to do. All this other stuff, but these 10,000 pages, it's not all about that. The process is simple. Go to the election office in your area and submit for a voter's registration card, and the process will start from there.
And that's important because a lot of people don't know that even if you have served time, if
Yep.
you are not on papers right now, you can have your voting rights restored.
Yep, that's a fact. Also, serving as an elected official, poll manager, or poll watcher on election day, you could submit for absentee ballot. Admit to a hospital as an emergency patient within 4 days of the election. Death of a funeral family member within 3 days of election. Do not want to vote on Saturday for religious reasons. Saturday elections only. So all those things is reasons why you could vote absentee. So I don't see any reasons why you can't vote absentee ballot. Because there's a lot of opportunities there. But don't get that confused with early voting, which starts on the 24th. Anyone could vote without an excuse starting the 24th at those four polling places: Andrews, Choppy, Recreation Center, 303 North Hazardous Street, which is the voters registration office, and the Litchfield Exchange in Litchfield and Polly's Island. So those places, you could go any one of those places. I don't care where you are in the county. If you're passing by it, you could stop and vote. You don't have to be a citizen or a registered voter in that area. You could stop anywhere in Georgetown County at those 4 locations and vote starting the 24th of October through the 5th of November.
We've got a couple of Saturdays in there as well, right?
Oh yeah, we got 2 Saturdays in there, the 29th and the 5th of November.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the changes to being able to give away food and water while you're in the lines waiting to vote.
All of that is so sticky. If you definitely can't do it on election property. But one thing we must understand: if you're on private property, you give away what you want to give away. Like we did at the election office in Georgetown. We were on private property or business property. You can't be on public property and give it away, or on property of that election office and stuff within a certain footage, which is 500 feet. So make sure that you understand that. Don't be going up there thinking you can do things the old ways, because there's folks sitting and waiting to put handcuffs on you, and it's a serious, serious crime now.
Okay. What are some of the consequences of elections?
Oh boy, some of the consequences of election. Let's start with voting rights.
Mm-hmm.
People we put in office right now, we still fighting for a voting rights bill. You know, that's the George Floyd bill. John Lewis, bled and died consistently. Dr. King, these folks marched. Edmund Pettus Bridge, still fighting for that same voting rights, that bill
Mm-hmm.
that we're still fighting for. It's just treacherous. Healthcare is on the ballot right now. That's the consequences of voting. Who you put in office matters. Public education, whether it's privatized or public education, charter schools, whatever, where your money go into education matters. It's who you put in office. Climate protection. Coal is going away. All those things is a part of climate change. Coal and these based on the environmental energy conference just that we're present on last weekend. So much involved there. Just people still think they could pump water out of the ground and just drink it. That's fine. But are you willing to face the consequences of your health doing that? We had people right in the community wanting to do that and bottle the water. Now everything needs to be checked. Everything needs to be checked. DHEC is not going to certify no one pumping water out of the ground, put it in a bottle and sell it to someone. Your veterans benefit. There's a challenge right now, for veterans benefit. It's always been a challenge. But the thing is, that's why we have to keep the right people in office to make sure those things don't change. How do you send someone away to fight for democracy in your country, fighting for democracy in other countries, and come back to yours, and you don't even get the benefits of fighting?
Ain't that something?
You see what I'm saying? That's crazy. So we have some serious issues here in the United States also when it comes to how democracy is affected when we put the wrong people in office.
How about the hate crime bill right here in South Carolina?
Oh man, don't even exist. Only 2 states left. 2 states without a hate crime bill. Not a hate crime bill. Richard Moore, just check that out. He's about to be sentenced what? For death? And what was the penalty?
We've got a candidates forum, school board candidates forum, coming up on the 3rd. Let's talk about that.
3rd of November. We have a school board candidate forum coming up on the 3rd of November. And this forum is going to be in the western portion of Georgetown, because we haven't had a forum on the western side of Georgetown other than the Wynyard, not Wynyard, but the at the school board on Beck Street the other night. And you had some other meetings and stuff where candidates showed up, but we need a forum on the western side. And that forum is going to be on Choppy at the Choppy Recreation Center, starting at 6:00 on the 3rd of November. And that forum is really supposed to concentrate on the at-large seats, because that's what's affecting the western end of Georgetown. That's what they will be voting for. District 2 seat, that's with Lynn Ford and Mr. DuBose. That's District 2 seat. That's on the east side of Georgetown. But the other seat, which affects us, is that at-large seat that's running right now, and District 7 seat, which is uncontested, which is being held by Keith Moore, is running for that seat. So, but that forum is critical. We're asking everyone, Choppy, Browns Ferry, PD, Carvers Bay, you name it, just come on out, Plantersville, just come on out so you'll see who's attempting to sit in those seats, because it matters who you put there. It matters this term who was there. If we didn't have the right people in place on this term, we would not have gotten the 13%, $13 minimum wage at the school, which we were pushing for 15 plus. But we're going to continue to push, but we need the right people in those seats. So you can't put anybody there. When you have people sitting up briefing a budget and says, well, we never considered bringing it up to $15 an hour. It means, well, we never considered you, those that's making below minimum wage. So it tells a story and stuff. Listen closely when people say something, they mean that. They mean that. So you really need to listen very closely. You know. So that was a big hurdle. The county is now at $11 minimum wage, which is very low. You know, we really need to pay our people, you know, at the bottom. Because if you don't think it's impactful to pay them, look what happened during COVID-19 when they practically shut the school down because a janitor got sick. You see what I'm saying? So they're only important when it's essential. They're essential workers in critical conditions, but after that, they're forgotten about. So put candidates in those seats. That's going to remember those little people that we call the least of us, you know, the least of us, not those that's making, you know, these high dollars, getting credit cards or gas, driving county vehicle to their home, and then getting a stipend at the same time. That's the good old boy system that we are still dealing with also. And this is critical. It's critical. So when someone say they don't have money to get to the least of these, I ask them, why do they have money to pad the pockets of those that's retired, still working and coming back to the school system with getting a full-time salary right now. There's only a few left getting a full-time salary. So when you hear folks that they're fighting to bring retired folks back into Georgetown County school system, you make sure that they're bringing them back to those critical positions like teacher's position, not positions that they walked away from and they're walking right back into. They didn't even change their hat. Walk right back into getting full-time salaries, and their children getting pockets padded walking through the door. The bottom line, that's what's happening. It's the have and the have-nots, and know where you are in the picture.
Okay. So we've got a talent show coming up next Saturday.
You want to talk about it?
Sure. 6 to 8 p.m. next Saturday, October 29th. We will have a talent show for early voting. As you know, early voting starts on the 24th of October and it goes through November 5th. So if you come in with a sticker that says I voted, you will be entered to get one of, I believe, 25 gift certificates. And they range from things like Walmart, Amazon, gas cards, so on and so forth. So if you vote, come in, bring your sticker, show up to the talent show, enjoy some good performances. And if you have talent, guess what? Top prize $500. Who can't use $500?
I'd use it right now.
$500 top prize. First runner up is gonna get $200, and then third place will get $100. So anybody who has some talent, please reach out to us 790-4075 so that we can make sure we get you signed up. If you want to come out and enjoy the show again, will be 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock. I'm sorry, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, obviously, right there at the Howard Center. Enjoy a good show for a good cause. To enter, you've got to be between the ages of 17 to 40. We're targeting that generation.
Who's the DJ for that show? You know,
oh, that's DJ Cleveland Milton, good brother.
Yeah, and they could also sign up online under that website and stuff. https://gle/xgzp13t.
That thing too long, Mr. Neal. We gonna have to shoot him that link.
Well, you could go on the webpage and just click on that link, and it should give you the opportunity to sign up, and please sign up.
You can definitely go under the branch Facebook page, Georgetown NAACP number 5520. Look on our events. You can definitely get the link to sign up from there. Or as I said, give us a call and we'll shoot it to you so that you can fill it out.
I think you can
form, fill it in, and you're good to go.
I think you could also
to confirm.
I think you could also go to the League of Women Voters page also, and it should
absolutely.
So let's make sure that we support that. It's not a fundraiser. It's the idea is to give people incentive to get out and vote early, because the 29th, I'm going to vote on the 24th so I can walk in with my I vote sticker and get in free. I hope I could get a drawing for you, get in the drawing for the $25 gift card. I could use one.
What other community events do we need to know about?
Wow. Where we want to start? We talk about the Amendment 2 election, but we also need to talk about who's running in these positions for the governor and lieutenant governor.
Okay.
The governor and lieutenant governor is a critical race. Well, all these positions are critical, but some that we overlook so easily and stuff is we'll talk about that too. But on the governor and lieutenant governor, you can only vote for one, which is Governor Henry McMaster. You have the lieutenant governor that's running is Pamela Evat, Republicans. You have Democrat Bruce Reeves, and Libertarian Bruce Reeves and Jessica Eltridge. They are Libertarians. And for the Democratic Party is Joe Cunningham, and Tally Parham Casey, which is running for lieutenant governor. That's on the Democratic ticket. And you also have a write-in. The Secretary of State, you have Mark Hammond, which is a Republican. You have Ramonda Peggy Butler, which is a Democrat. Then you have a write-in. On the state treasurer position, you have Curtis Loftus, which is Republican, and Sarah Works, which is has alliance here. Okay. Which is the state treasurer position. Attorney General, you have Alan Wilson, which is Republican. Then you have a write-in. Comptroller General, you have Richard Ekstrom, which is a Republican. The state superintendent of education, which is a critical race. You have Patricia M. Michael Green, who's running in the Green Party. Then you have Ellen Weaver, which is a Republican, and Lisa Ellis, Alliance, and Lisa Ellis also Democrat. Let me remind you about that ticket. You have Lisa Ellis on that ticket twice, which she is a part of two parties, which is the Alliance Party and the Democratic Party. You can only vote for one. You can't vote for her twice. You can't vote for the Alliance and the Democratic Party. So, but when you vote, just make sure you vote for the one that pertains to your needs. Okay.
Real quick, before you move on from that, let's touch on this because I'm unsure that everybody isn't going to understand this. The governor and lieutenant governor are not on the same ticket. They're voted for individually. What's the importance of that?
Well, because what you're going to be looking at and stuff, you have to make sure that when you mark that ballot, you're marking it for those individuals that you want. What you're paying attention, because it makes a difference who you vote for in those positions. Because if something happened to the governor, that's who's going to step in. Mm-hmm. That's who's going to step in. So you make sure you educate yourself, not just on who's running for governor, but who's running for lieutenant governor also. And back to the superintendent of education, I understand one of the Ellen Weaver, who's running and stuff, she is not even qualified yet. I think she's trying to get qualified while she's on the ballot, which is required to have a master's in education, a master's degree. Mm-hmm. And I understand she's going to Bob Jones University trying to get a master's. That's what I understand now.
Okay.
Yeah, so people need to pay attention and read up on these individuals and stuff, get educated on them. So that's a critical
be able to apply for the job and get qualified later, ain't it?
Well, some can do that. Some can do that. President Trump put his children into the White House. Now everybody is running from being convicted of a crime. It's amazing. So unqualified people should not be in place. Bottom line, know who you're voting for, because there's an impact. There's an impact. An election have consequences, and we are paying a price now from an insurrectionist president that reap havoc on the democracy in the United States of America. So make sure you know who you're voting for, because you're what you eat. You know, come down to the Commissioner of Agriculture. You have Chris Nellum, who's a U.S. citizen. David Edmund is the Green Party, and Hugh Weathers is the Republican. I met Chris Nellums, and that guy is off the chain. He is off the chain. I met him at the NAACP convention. He came in and did a demonstration on why he is running for the Commission of Agriculture. And I didn't know it was that much money in the Commission of Agriculture, you know, and the impact it has on community and having someone in place. That money is divvied out based on who you have in place. So be careful and read up on those guys, because he is talking a lot about the hemp plants and the impact on bringing in hemp. And, you know, and you talk about environmental destruction and stuff like that of trees and stuff of that nature, how you can retain those trees, because trees absorb carbon dioxide. That's what it does. And that's critical. So as we cut trees and pour a slab of concrete, there's no replacement. And
some of these positions we don't think twice about, but they affect us so much.
So much from a health standpoint to everything else. So that's why I go to all these conferences and stuff. And the U.S. Senate race, which is Tim Scott, which is Republican, and Crystal Matthews. That's a critical race. Election have consequences. You know, U.S. House of Representatives, District 7. You have Russell Fry, which he ran against what's the guy named there? Tom Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Rice. So he's the Republican that's going to be running against Darrell Scott, the Democrat, in this election. So know who you are voting for. The House of Representatives, District 103, is Kyle Anderson. He's running as a Democrat. He do not have an opponent. Georgetown County District 7, you have David Ballard, a Republican, who's running against Louis Morant, a Democrat. So, you know that he's know that who you're running for, and that's a critical race also.
Bye. Bye. We about to go.
Okay. This is why I need to go to the food bank.
Come on, let's go.
So that's why, you know, Louis Morant is a Democrat in that race, and David Ballard is Republican. Louis Morant is black, and we need to make sure we understand that. You know, the Soil and Water District Commission. You have Marty Avant, a nonpartisan, and Morris Johnson. He's running as a write-in. So,
okay.
And you have to write him in. You know, he put his name out the other day that he is running. Morris Johnson. Morris Johnson is a former NAACP president for Georgetown. He served in that position prior. He was sick when the ballot came out and didn't get a chance to register to sign up to vote. So he's going as a write-in this time. School board at-large seat, we have Michael Farrell, who's running nonpartisan. Robert Cox, nonpartisan. Kathy Fadon Anderson, nonpartisan. Make sure you look at the background of these people. You have Michael Farrell, who's a former principal of Georgetown High School, and he's now serving on the school board. You have Kathy Fadon Anderson, who ran in the special election at the resignation of Mr. Jim Dunn. He ran against with Mr. DuBose in that special election and won. You know, and she's a former school teacher of 31 years, I think she said. Then you have Robert Cox, who's a former he was the building inspector for Georgetown County. That's who's running. Robert Cox, he was a building inspector. Then you have the write-in. School Board District 7, you have Keith Moore, who's running unopposed for the first time. That's the area Dr. Lance have not petitioned to run again. So that's a huge seat to fill. Then you have the amendment, which is I just went over Amendment 1 and
Well,
2.
with the school board, before we move on there, individuals need to know if you go straight ticket, whether it be Democrat, Republican, whatever, you still have to vote for your school board seats because they are nonpartisan. So make sure that you go down and vote for who you want to vote for in those school board seats if you do straight ticket.
Most definitely. Those school board at-large seats, you have to make sure that you go down and pick 2 people out of the at-large seat of the 3. You have Michael Farrell, Robert Cox, Kathy Fadon Anderson. You can only pick 2 people out of those 3. So make sure you do your background and check and make sure, because the election have consequences. And those are all the folks that's on the ballot. You also have Lynn Ford in District 2 and Scott DuBose in District 2. He ran the last time. I think he ran on critical race theory. That was the guy that, I guess he's going to take that to District 2 now. So.
We had Miss Ford on last week. If anyone wants to go back and see a little bit about her platform, we're going to invite everyone else to come if they so choose to and speak a little bit about their platform as well moving forward.
Well, our platform was always open, Deontay, and Ms. Ford requested to come on. If anyone else wished to come on, we are open to them coming on. So that door is open. We will have a forum where the people can get to meet those that affect the areas that we are focused on, which is where's the minority and the disenfranchised, and that's on the western side of Georgetown here in this election. So we're going to have an at-large school board forum on November 3rd at 6 o'clock on Choppy. Please come out so you will know who these people are, which is Michael Farrell, Robert Cox, Kathy Fadon Anderson. That's who we are focused on in this election on the western side of Georgetown. Every school board member is important because when they vote, it affects the entire school district. Everyone is important. So go out and see who we are voting for. If Lynn Ford and Mr. DeVos is in your area, they were already at the Beck Center, and they were at several other meetings that you're invited to. I understand they have another meeting coming up at the Democratic headquarters on the 24th, which is Monday. That's what I understand, at 6 o'clock. So you'll get the opportunity, anyone in Georgetown, you want to see who you're voting for, go out and see what's going on. Because Lynn Ford, that seat, she will be serving for the next 2 years, win or lose. But the impact is, if she loses, she is out, and DuBose will be your candidate for 4 years. So listen to them very carefully and know who to choose on.
Okay. What else do we need to know about community events upcoming?
Well, we have the make sure we have folks that's coming in to really pay attention to what's going on in this election. We have some attorneys going to be on the ground, most definitely. So, and there will be numbers. We'll put them online and stuff where you could call, because the election have consequences. And there's also, you could go on scvote.gov and report also, but we will have attorneys on the ground during this election in the different counties of Georgetown, especially Georgetown. And the thing we have to do is challenge your difference at the ballot box. If you have a difference there, challenge it. There's nothing wrong with that, but do it peacefully and follow the guidelines. Do not interfere with those elections. When it's clear, when you can speak to the poll clerk, call it to the side and state your business and move out. Don't get loud, because the poll clerk have power over everybody in this election. You could get loud and they'll pick up the phone, call the police, and the police have no other alternative but to arrest. Not sit there and play buddy like they did in that election in Andrews when Raymond Newton went in and affected that poll clerk. I understand that police officer was gone too. He removed himself. The number 2, do not accept intimidation and do not be bullied. Please report, get the name, and find out. Do not be taking pictures in these polling places. That is illegal. But you get the name of those that's trying to bully or intimidate you during this election or intimidate anyone, get the name. Remember, you can't steal democracy. It's only paused until the next election. So you always have a means to come back and fight again. Because you didn't win this time, go back the next time because your vote will count. Eventually, you'll get there. Like we say, organize, rally, protest, and vote for your differences at the ballot booth. That's where we do it at. Changes come at the ballot booth.
There you go. Thank you for joining us at Spotlight, brought to you by Georgetown NAACP number 5520. Final thoughts, Mr. Neal?
I remind you, as W.B. Du Bois said, now is the time and the accepted time, not tomorrow, not some more convenient season. It is today that our best work can be done. Our best work can be done. So I invite every one of you to help us in this work and join the NAACP of wherever you are, wherever you listen at. Join the NAACP because there's a lot of work being done. Right now, we're in the mix of helping folks with housing assistance, eviction, prevention, food stamp, SNAPs, whatever. Come and see us. And you can dial that number, 843-790-4075. We open from Thursday through Saturday. We keep on someone permanently in Georgetown at 1001 Front Street in Georgetown. So give us a call or come by and just see us Thursday through Saturday. We will always have someone at 1001 Front Street in Georgetown. We will be in the other areas of Williamsburg County also, and also we will be in the Johnsonville area coming up. Andrews, there's a clinic there also. Funding was just restored, and they will be there also on Main Street in the community service building there.
All right. Vote, 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 vote. Early voting starts on the 24th, Monday. Andrews Rec Center, Choppy Rec Center, Hazard Street right there at the election office, and Litchfield Exchange. You don't need to live in that area. If you're in Georgetown County and you're registered to vote in Georgetown County, you can go to any of those locations to cast your ballot. Don't forget to support our talent show on next Saturday, October 29th, starting at 6 p.m. at the Howard Center. As we always say, we love you all. Continue to love yourselves, and we out.
Thank you, Deontay. God bless you.